Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a breakdown of this free Zach Randolph Galaxy Opal card. Let's get right into the content. So Zach has a lot of great things going for him. He has got a 98 strength. He's 6'9" at the power forward position. He can play the small forward as well, so great size at the small forward if you choose to play him there. He's got a 93 speed, so I do think he can hold his own in that position. And now from a badge standpoint, I will just highlight, you definitely want to give him handles for days in hyperdrive. That's basically non-negotiable for the card. I'd also say bailout is non-negotiable. But as we can see here, this card can move very, very well. We can talk about his animations real quick. So he's got the Michael Jordan dribble style, excellent dribble style. Signature size up is Derrick Rose. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's look at this Derrick Rose signature size up. So we see here, so this Derrick Rose, it's got this like really fast crossover dribble that you have access to. You see that? He can really just like without anything else. This is just me going up left and up right on the right stick, just a regular crossover. And you can see here, this Derrick Rose, it like really shifty into itself, which is great because when you combine that with the Michael Jordan dribble style and the explosiveness of that dribble style, you see the push cross on Michael's very quick. Very quick push cross, and that's very forward at the same time. And this is his backwards push cross, much less quick, a little like the Devin Booker, but like a little slower. But still, with this Derrick Rose comboed into it, you can see he's definitely moving with that, right? So already, just that Derrick Rose crossover, it's very kind of glitchy and hitchy, and gives him access to really good movement right off the bat, right? Let's look at this. And Michael Jordan also has a little bit of that Kyrie Irving like same side burst, like he doesn't really need a hezi because he can just me holding turbo and feathering on the left stick in the same direction, right? Either left or right. So he has a little of that going on, and you mix that in with the Derrick Rose, and already he's got some good stuff going for him. Let's look at the rest of this Derrick Rose size up. This is between the legs, very good. Again, same thing. You can, get right to that if you want to. Gives you a little bit of a different rhythm because it's less glitchy, but it's still very strong. And this is the behind the back. Now, the behind the back in and of itself is not great, but mixed, I like the way it looks with this push cross, right? Like you mix it with that push cross and it's just got a very side to side kind of move. And visually, it kind of sells the crossover a little bit. So if somebody's playing on ball and you want to sell that crossover, that size up is good for that because you see that he like kind of looks like he's stopping, and we'll look at the same, and he can kind of same side burst just off of the regular, the regular size up. This is just me going between the legs and bursting out of it, not doing anything. That's the strength of that Michael Jordan dribble style. You can just do a crossover and kind of go. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it is there. Speaking of same side burst, let's look at his hezi. So this is what his hezi looks like raw. And that's what it looks like same side burst. So you see he has the Chris Paul, it looks like. He has a Chris Paul hezi. He sure does. Chris Paul hezi, one of the best in the games. So his same side burst is going to be excellent, very explosive. And then he also has access to that kind of glitchy fake crossover dribble move. But yeah, same side burst is going to be great. So same thing, you combo, and then you can go right into that same side burst off the Chris Paul. It's going to be absolutely fantastic for Zach Randolph. Escape moves. He has a Kobe Bryant escape. Kobe Bryant escape is definitely one of the better escapes in the game. Not exactly on the same level as Trey and Kemba, but definitely in that next group. And he can definitely left L2 cancel with that, which is great. So definitely recommend getting that under your fingers. You can look at the dribble tutorial for coverage on escapes. But yeah, so basically there's just holding right trigger and we're pressing roughly 2 o'clock, between 2 and 3 o'clock on the right stick, I'm sorry. And then same thing in the other direction between 9 and 10 o'clock, right? Just above the horizontal, so we don't get the between the legs. That's what the between the legs looks like. The between the legs is kind of slow. But Kobe also has this nice hesitation combo, which can crab your opponent as well. So you see you can get in front of people and crab into the jumper, all right? Actually, I will take a quick pause to talk about the jumper. So his jumper is good. The only thing about his jumper is you gotta hold it a little bit, all right? Like it looks like it releases a little sooner than it actually does. So you wanna actually let that ball settle above his head, but his jumper's fine. It doesn't feel prohibitively slow. You see I got it slightly early there. You just gotta let it start to move forward a little bit if you're on push. to you know, nail that jumper window. All right, moving on. Let's look at his explosive behind the back. There you go, right? Or behind the back escape. That's what he's got going on. And so same thing, it's not one of the best ones. Which one do they have it listed as? The Trae Young. Oh, okay, so that's the Trae Young, which means he has access to that, which is a phenomenal behind the back, right? Phenomenal behind the back. You can really speed up court into that. And if you're a follower of this channel, you know what's coming next. We're gonna look at that whoopty into that behind the back. So off of a standstill, you can get that crazy launch forward. If you explore that whoopty tech, you can just go straight to the basket, because once you do that whoopty, you are in a running state. If you don't know what I mean by running state, watch the dribble tutorial where I explain all of those nuances of the dribbling system. John Wall step back, best in the game, which means he also has a snatch. Self-explanatory, right? So now we're going to look at that mixed in with that Michael Jordan dribble style. And you can see pretty good explosion, not as good as the LeBron or the pro dribble style, which again is why on this channel we emphasize how good those dribble styles are, but still very much usable. And when you mix that in with the Derrick Rose signature size up, you can see there, now that between the legs starts to really pay dividends, because you can see it's a back, left, right in really strong directions, but it's quick. Very, very quick that he has access to that off the size up. You see that ball really gets all the way out, but it's not slow. And I love that. And obviously you can momentum out of this. You can behind the back out of this, right? And explode off the behind the back. The Trae Young behind the back does allow you to use that tech, right? Where you do the behind the back and then you do it again and you just keep moving, right? So it's just behind the back again, keep moving, and then he's out of there. So as we can see, it's no exaggeration to say that Zach Randolph is an actual like meta dribbler in this game. He's like a legitimate dribble god, because we have to literally go over every single one of his dribble moves because they're all basically elite. Even that Trae Young, it is an elite behind the back. It's just not an elite standing behind the back. But even with that, you can L2 cancel off of it, right? Like you can still get the L2 cancel off of that behind the back. It just doesn't move you as far. So it's more of like a dribble mix-up move, right? So you can change directions, but it's just not going to be as overpowered as the Jamal Murray. And you're not going to be able to 3-hunt off of it the way you would. But you do have the Kobe escape to substitute for that, right? So if you are more in the 3-hunting phase, you can get some more side-to-side movement with that Kobe escape and find access to that. And as we can see here, that Trae Young gives you access to really good what do you call it, misdirections. And again, you can start to see the shiftiness of this character already, right? Like with just mixing all this stuff in, once you start mixing these combos in and you look at everything that he has access to, the card can really just move, man. The card really moves extraordinarily well. So I think that covers it for his dribbles. Oh, well, let's look at his combos actually. So that's his double throw, right? Just 3-6 or 3-9 or 9-3, depending on which hand the ball is in. Right, and again, combos very well with that snatch back. He has a good momentum crossover, very snappy momentum crossover. So again, this Zach Randolph, you know, you can combine that with the misdirection, combine it with the behind the back, you know, his snatches. You can throw in the L2 cancel, you can throw in the Kobe escape. If you know how to dribble, the Zach Randolph card can cook. I think he's actually a lot closer to that Tyler Hansborough than people think that he is overall as a card. And especially as a ball handler, like he can really move that way. But unlike Tyler Hansborough, he can play the 3. So let's look at the shooting a little more in depth here. So, I'm sorry. Before we go to the shooting, one more thing. So this is his regular size up combo, and this is his aggressive size up combo. This is kind of like a standstill version of the Paul George. I'm not a fan. If I find a use for it, I will make a video for it later. But this doesn't look really usable. I would definitely stick to his regular dribble combos and that Derrick Rose size up. The Derrick Rose size up is so strong that I would probably mess with that. And yeah, let me look at his aggressive crossover too. He has the Kobe like aggressive crossover, right? So that's pretty self-explanatory if you know how to use that move. This move right here, right? So as I explained in the Paolo Banchero video, when you do this, you basically just want to let go. If you want to run forward, you let go of turbo and you hit the left stick, which looks like this, right? And then you get on turbo again. But the cool thing is you can mix this with his snatch back, right? So if you hit that, boom, and snatch back, right? So it does work with that. It's not as quick as some of the other ones for that particular usage, but it is there. And you know, the main thing is you got to get off of that turbo so that you don't stop, right? But it is good for that forward launch. That's one thing I will say. It's really, really good for the forward launch. And you can see comboing out of that. Once you get off that left stick, you can combo, I mean that turbo, you can combo out of that move as well. So this guy, he's one of the few cards in the game that I've covered. He has the entire suite of moves. There's almost no junk dribbles in his entire kit. Everything is useful for one thing or another. And I didn't talk about the moving crossover with Kobe, but if you don't know about it, yeah, it's the best moving crossover in the game. That's why we said that earlier. All right, so now let's get to the shooting. That's what he looks like off the leaner. Not super strong off the leaner. I think this is the weakness of the card. It looks like Pro 3. Yeah, yuck. Pro 3 leaner. So that's a big L for Zach, and definitely a minus for the card. And this is, he's got basic 2 hop jumper. Not a fan of the hop jumper either. So that's the main thing about the card is with this card. So most people will look at that and be like, oh, well, he can't shot hunt. No, he can definitely shot hunt. What he has to use to shot hunt is he has to use his escapes, right? And he has to use a snatchback. That's his shot hunting tool, is the escapes and the snatchback. As a moving shot hunter, that pro or basic 2 is okay. It's usable. Not nearly as good as what a lot of the other cards have. But as soon as you advance to the basket, you can get into this John Wall hop, create shots that way. You can get into the snatchback, and you can hop, create shots that way. And obviously you can explode into the dribble as well. So anybody with the John Wall hop back can create shots, right? This is one of the most effective shot creation moves in the game because you move forward and you move back. Couldn't get any simpler than that, right? So that's the thing that you're leaning on with Zach Randolph. Now we're going to look at his dunking and his layups real quick. Let's look at the animation. So he has a lot of, so he has LeBron James layup package. This is huge for the card. Absolutely huge for the card. In fact, if you don't have that Opal LeBron James, give this Zach Randolph a try because he functionally does a lot of the same stuff. Do I think he's as good? No, I don't think he's quite as good. I think LeBron's shot is a little better. LeBron has way better moving shots. Dribble-wise, Zach Randolph is actually overall better than LeBron, but the dribbles that you need to be successful, LeBron has the dribbles that you need to be successful. But I will say, as an overall dribbler, Zach Randolph is superior. And if somebody liked this more than the LeBron card, I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit. So we've already covered the LeBron layup package in another video. Go ahead and look at the LeBron video, how to use LeBron James if you want to see that. And yeah, as a dunker, he's got access to a lot of dunks. Just want to look at the attribute real quick. So he's got 91 3-point shot. Throw a shoe on that. Get him up to 95. That's going to feel really good. And driving dunk, he's got an 85 driving dunk, but a 95 standing dunk, which is amazing. That's an amazing quality for this card to have. 95 standing dunk is freaking broken. So when he is under the basket, if you know how to standing dunk, and I will confess, that is not my specialty because I play guard in the rec, not big. But for bigs who know how the standing dunk mechanics work, I highly recommend looking at Laker Fans' video on the subject. Once you're under the basket, if they make even the slightest positional mistake, you're on that rim. And that cannot be overlooked. That is a very, very strong element of this card. And if you put him into 3, he's going to have a lot of matchups, especially against people who run switch all, where you're going to get under that rim and people are absolutely dead. And that is one of the strongest qualities of this card, and I don't want to overlook that. And yeah, driving dunk, he has all of the packages in the game. So I would say he's already adequate as a driving dunker, but go ahead and throw a shoe on that as well, just to get that meter to be even that much more friendly. And yeah, that's going to cover this Zach Randolph card. It's funny because I haven't wasted a lot of time, but we've gone almost the entire 15 minutes going through this card. But he's just so deep and has so much to his kit that we had to spend the entire video talking about how much he has, because he's just that good. And I don't see a whole lot of people talking about this rewards card, but if you play him and that Marc Gasol, you have a very competitive front court. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, please like and subscribe. Got to do the YouTuber thing. Thank you for your support, and I will see you